Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our online interview edition. And we want to talk today to Michael Henrichsen, who is the geologist of Torq Resources. Welcome and good morning to you. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thanks for having us again.
Yeah, of course. Super. We spoke already several times. I'm a shareholder of the company. I want to disclose that also upfront here. And yeah, because you guys brought out news on the 2nd August and also on the 17th August, we will see in a minute also later on about some specialities. But first of all, I want to outline that you guys drilled 575 meters of 0.38 gram gold per ton, 0.23% copper, and 56 ppm moly. I would say that's outstanding at Santa Cecilia, right?
It was a fantastic start to our program. I mean, that was the second drill hole that we put into the project.
Yeah.
And really, what that represents is an 80% increase in gold grade to the historical result that was there. And to me, that's bringing us much closer to the high grade causative intrusion, like you see at Caspiche, where the high grade core of that 25 million ounce deposit and 7 billion pounds of copper, that high grade core is about 1 gram gold and zero point 0.4 copper. And it's just as you get outside of that, you basically are drilling exactly what we drilled. So we feel we're very close to that right now. So fantastic result for us. We want to keep drilling, no
Okay.
question.
Yeah, absolutely. I can really imagine that. Fantastic. So what is now, let's say, the plan? I mean, you are doing also follow-up drilling at Margarita, yeah, at the IOCG project. Before we come to that, I would shortly stay with Santa Cecilia, and it is. Yeah, as said, really amazing the intercepts you showed so far. So, how is the drill program going? How many meters have you done? And what is, let's say, the next 4 to 8 weeks coming up?
Sure. So basically, we wanted to get a couple of drill holes in prior to Chilean winter, which is what we've done. So we've stopped drilling for now. So we drilled 2,000 meters in two holes.
Mhm.
These holes were 700 meters apart, really trying to see if we could get some increased grade, which we did, which was fantastic. And we've taken a break for the Chilean winter, and we expect to be drilling here again in Q4 of this year,
Mhm.
probably towards the end of November, early December, at which point we'll start again the first phase of drilling, which we consider about 15,000 meters. Now, in that, a couple of things for your listeners is that this additional 12,000 meters we want to drill will have two objectives. One is to find that high grade causative intrusion close to where we've been drilling at the Cerro del Medio target, right in the middle of the project. But also in our field work this year, we found three mineralized copper porphyries on surface that have never been drill tested. And those are within about a kilometer and a half of the Caspiche deposit,
Ooh.
which is owned by Barrick and Newmont. And that deposits 25 million ounces of gold and 7 billion pounds of copper. And we're just seeing these things that have never been drilled on surface. So absolutely, we want to drill those targets and go for the high grade causative intrusion where we have been drilling. So I think a lot of opportunity for Torque investors in our next phase of drilling
Mhm.
as we continue our first phase of drilling at Santa Cecilia.
Okay, super. Great. Can you give us also a little bit more light? I think you have also two slides prepared to show us
Yeah, no,
something
absolutely.
that would
Let
be
me let
great.
me share
Yes,
the
share the
a
screen,
couple of slides
please.
with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, perfect. There it is. Okay, what do we see
Yeah,
here?
so perfect. You have two images. The one on the left is taken from a 43101 report from Exeter Resources, who was drilling Caspiche as a discovery, and this is from October 19th of 2009. And what I want to show you on that left hand side of the image is, that pink intrusion, which is the causative intrusion, which really makes the high grade core of Caspiche. There's some fantastic results in there. When you're drilling that high grade core, 1,200 meters of zero point 0.9 gold, 0.33 copper. 1,058 meters of zero point 0.7 gold, zero point 0.3 copper. Then you step outside of that, even 100 meters away, next result is 592 meters of 0.44 gold, 0.25 copper. Now, when you look at that and you compare it to what we've just done, which is on the image to the right, the gold histogram is the red color there on the drill string. and copper is in blue. And what you can see from this is that the gold numbers on that drill hole number 2 are much better than anything else. In fact, we increased the gold grade by 80%. And
Wow.
what I'd say here is, in our estimation, we're very close to the causative intrusion. We're basically drilling similar grades of wall rock mineralization as that you see at Caspiche. And to me, that's the real important message to communicate. We feel we're close. We know we have to keep drilling to get into that, high grade core, and obviously our objective is to drill similar intercepts as you see at Caspiche. I mean, we know it's part of the same hydrothermal system. It's the same age of mineralization. This is our objective, and we feel that we're very close now. So I hope that gives everybody a good look as to what we're trying to do here.
Absolutely. And what is on the second slide? What is the difference there?
It's a very similar
Okay.
scenario, just a different cross section
Yeah.
from the Caspiche deposit. But again, you just look at that and you look at the high grade core, and again, it's 800 meters roughly of about a gram gold and 0.4 copper. You step outside of that, and the grades drop, to say 580 meters of half a gram gold and 0.19 copper. So you can see this mineralization that we just drilled is very similar to what's just outside of the high grade core at Caspiche. And that to me is what gives us so much confidence moving forward. That increase in grade was a really big deal for us in the second drill hole.
Okay, so the question is then, if we put that into a context, how many more of those deep holes do you need to drill to really define, let's say, a resource, or to say it broadly spoken, to define a mine?
Well, look, I mean, that's a very good question, right? I mean, I think I wish I could give you the perfect answer for
Yeah.
that, but I can't. I can't. What I can tell you though is for us to do this within 2 drill holes of us starting our own drill program on here is exceptional. And I think the timelines can be very short. I would suggest to you that our objectives for the next phase of drilling, which we would like to put 12,000 meters into, is to find that high grade causative intrusion. And we believe that that can happen. But also, again, these other targets that are within 1.5 kilometers of Caspiche, I mean, maybe that's the center of mass on the project and we get into something brand new, which nobody's ever drilled. Either way, I think there's just this next round of drilling, because we've done all the preparatory work. We had to go back. No real systematic work had been done here since the 1990s. We had to go do that, and that in such a short time led us to such a good result. Again, I just believe the momentum's with us on the project, and it's improving with the more information we collect. So to answer your question, what do I believe the next 12,000 meters can give us? I believe it can give us the high grade causative intrusion where we've been drilling at the Cerro del Medio target.
Yeah.
And I believe there's a really good chance that we find a brand new mineralized porphyry fairly close to Caspiche within 1.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers on the eastern side of the project.
Yeah, exactly. It's just what I wanted to ask you, because if I look at the map here in the news, that is really like bordering to Caspice. So it would be something where the guys from Caspice would go like, yeah, I want to have it, I want it, I want it.
Look, we certainly recognize that when we first got on the
Yeah.
project. I mean, right now the Norte Abierto joint venture, which is held 50% by Newmont and 50% by Barrick, the two main deposits that they are contemplating developing are 13 kilometers apart. This is Caspiche and Cerro Casale. Now you can imagine if we find something within 2-3 kilometers or 1.5 kilometers of Caspiche, that's a completely different
Yeah.
potential development scenario.
Yeah.
And that's why we're so keen on Santa Cecilia. It hasn't been explored since 1990, really, except a couple of deep holes in 2012. We're improving on that. We want to put the next phase of drilling in. We really feel there's a fantastic opportunity to change that whole district if we can find a high grade and a new mineralized system. I think this could look very different,
Yeah.
generally speaking,
Yeah.
in the very near future for us
Yeah,
with
and
the next drill
honestly,
phase.
when you do that, it would also change the share price of Torq.
I'm quite
Yes.
sure it would, and that's our objective. We understand the markets right now, they're tough markets.
Yeah.
But if we can get into that causative intrusion and drill similar grades like we've just been seeing here at Caspiche, I think that would do a great deal for our share price.
Okay, super. If you can shortly stop the screen sharing, that would be great.
Yep.
Super. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, super. That looks all fantastic. So we look really forward to your next results, which are coming out. But you also reported that you initiated the follow-up drilling on the discovery at Margarita for the IOCG project. So how is it going there?
Yeah, it's good. We're several holes into our drill program, so we're obviously pleased with our progress. It's been very efficient. For us, this was a greenfields discovery. Down at low elevation, close to the city of Copiapó. When we look at this, we say to ourselves, okay, what can Margarita become? Can we find a second body of mineralization? And that's our objective on this current phase of drilling, which is 4,000 meters. We're testing a bunch of new targets. We're testing the extension of what we've already found. We're testing new targets nearby and across the property. And for me, if we can get into a second body of mineralization here and extend our discovery, then we're kind of getting into that scale of project which we believe would interest the mid tiers, the producers in the belt. So that's our objective here. This is again, back to high risk drilling. Let's go find something brand new. And the project certainly
Yeah.
delivered to us so far. So we're very excited to get our drill results. We would expect the first results to come out of Margarita probably towards mid to the end of September,
Okay.
and then through into October and probably November, at which point we want to be starting work again at Santa Cecilia. So there'll be good news flow and good catalysts coming out of the company for the foreseeable future, really.
Okay, super. May I ask you something about Chile? How is it going these days there? Is all fine? Good for you to work?
Absolutely. We've seen, business as usual for us in Chile. I mean, I think the concerns that investors may have had with the government, the left leaning government coming in, I think those are largely, should be taken care of by now. We've seen big permits being granted. Los Bronces, which Anglo holds, got their permit. We're seeing mine development, business as usual for us. We have no concerns about Chile as a jurisdiction.
Mhm.
In fact, it's been excellent to work in.
Okay, super. Can you give us your opinion, please? It could be also privately, not talking about Torq, of course, now. But for me, it's quite interesting. I'm a shareholder in BHP also. They run also Escondida, world's largest copper mine. And I saw that they brought out in their annual report, in a half-year report, they brought out that the grades are shrinking. So they are getting more and more, let's call it a bit of a problem. I think also Codelco, etc., several other mines, they are facing now, because those are mines like 30, 40 years old, right? And now the
Yeah.
grades are shrinking. So we saw already that Chile produced less copper than last year. I think it's a good 1.5 million tons less than compared to last year. And what is your view on that? I mean, you work in the country, you are a geologist. I mean, to my understanding, that is something which puts you a bit into the focus, because we need new large projects, right?
Yeah, I think, look, anytime, I mean, Chile is world class. And so you're exactly right when you say these mines are decades old and have produced a tremendous amount of copper out of them. Now, obviously, eventually the grades start going down. I mean, that's just natural in the cycle of a mine
Yeah.
life. And, BHP has even contemplated taking Escondida underground, to search, to have better production grades. For me in Chile, we're still in the land of giants. And because, we're very fortunate to have Santa Cecilia, which has not really been explored since 1990, we have that opportunity to find that next big deposit. And I think that's a really critical point that I would like to make.
Mm.
Santa Cecilia is very unique, hasn't been explored, has the chance to be a really significant size deposit in the country. And, that's the job that we have. I'm not surprised that, with some of the comments coming out of the majors, it takes a lot of capital expenditure
Oh,
to
yeah.
go underground and this kind of thing. But at the same time, you still need people like us, the juniors who are trying to find something new to bring into that future production profile in the country. But certainly, I believe Chile will be the number one producer for years to come.
Absolutely super. And Talk hopefully will be somebody who will deliver in addition to that.
Absolutely. That's why we're there. No question.
Super, perfect. So a lot of news flow will come within the next weeks and months. That is fantastic. The drills will restart to turn, of course, as you said, after the Chinese winter. That is fantastic. And yeah, I have a good feeling that we talk quite soon then. And so, Michael, from that side, thank you very much for the update. It's always very helpful. And yeah, let's keep really fingers crossed for you because you are hunting the elephant in the elephant country.
Yeah, that's right. So thanks very much for your encouragement and thanks for your time this morning.
Super, thank you very much. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Michael Henrichsen, the Chief Geologist of Torq Resources, and you heard it. Things are going extremely well. And to be honest, if you start a drill program and you hit already with the first two long holes such fantastic values, I mean that is outstanding, and it shows the quality of the team of Michael's team with him and of course around him. But this is something which is really unusual because you always can have a miss. Yeah, that is quite normal when you start to do things like that. But it shows really Torq is on the right trace. They are doing the right things. And don't forget, they are just 1.5 kilometers away from Caspiche. And I could imagine if they hit the next 3, 4 good holes, the guys of Caspiche, meaning the Newmans and Barracks of this world, they will really take an eye on that. And so from that perspective, I'm a shareholder of the company. You maybe will be some, or you are already. Please have a very, very close look on Torq Resources because that's elephant hunting in elephant territory. That's exactly what we want. And the world needs the copper, the moly, the gold, the silver, etc. The demand is there. We need to find it and we need to produce it. So thanks for watching us and bye bye from Austria today.